I ordered pizza at a wedding because half the guests didn't get food. But now the bride says I ruined her aesthetic? My wife and I showed up to my buddy's wedding expecting the usual. Open bar, decent food, good time. 70 people invited, mostly family on both sides. The venue was nice. Nothing crazy, but classy enough. We got seated at a table with some strangers who turned out to be pretty cool people, and we all started chatting and having drinks together. The ceremony itself was beautiful. My friend looked genuinely happy. His new wife was glowing in her white dress, and everything seemed absolutely perfect. After they said their vows and kissed, each table got 2 bottles of wine and some bread with butter. There was also an open bar set up in the corner, so naturally we started taking advantage of that. Then dinner started. They set up a buffet line with what looked like really amazing food. I was half buzzed at this point and looking forward to eating something substantial. The plan was to call tables up a few at a time, which made total sense. Family tables went first on both sides, which is completely understandable. But here's where things went sideways. His new in-laws are larger people. And look, I'm not judging anyone for how much they eat, but I couldn't help noticing the absolutely massive portions they were piling onto their plates. Mountains of food, seriously. Still, I figured there was plenty. They must have ordered for 70 people, right? Except then I watched them go back for seconds. And thirds. Before even half the tables had been called. Nobody stopped them. By the time our table got called to the buffet, the trays were practically empty, scraped clean. A few sad vegetables, some rolls, maybe a spoonful of potatoes. I asked the catering staff if more food was coming. She looked embarrassed and said no. We grabbed scraps and went back. Everyone was still hungry and getting pissed off. We started quietly complaining about how the first tables ate everything. The wine kept flowing, but our stomachs were empty. Someone mentioned pizza. Drunk me thought that was brilliant. We all pitched in and ordered 4 large pizzas and chicken wings from a place nearby. 20 minutes later, delivery showed up. I brought everything to our table and we started eating. The smell immediately caught attention. People from nearby tables asked where it came from. Turns out several other tables hadn't gotten food either. We shared with anyone who asked. This caused commotion. Other guests started asking the wedding party if pizza was being served. My friend the groom came over looking stressed. His bride was upset because we'd ruined the aesthetic by bringing outside food. I explained we literally didn't get to eat. The buffet ran out before our table was called. He asked why we didn't just leave to grab food elsewhere. I pointed out we'd been drinking on empty stomachs for over an hour. Having drunk guests wandering around town wasn't the smartest plan. He didn't like that answer, but went back to his glaring bride. Then one of the in-laws came over asking about the pizza. 2 slices left in the box. I could see him eyeing them. I asked my table if anyone wanted one. Everyone declined. He said he'd take one. I grabbed both slices, put them on my plate, and looked him straight in the eye. No, you and your tables had way more than your fair share and ate everything before most people got called. That's why we ordered pizza. You don't get ours. His face went completely red. He turned and walked back to his table. Lots of angry discussion there. His whole family kept shooting looks at us. The bride looked even more furious and got into what looked like a heated argument with my friend. Eventually, the groom came back and told us we had to leave. I felt terrible for causing problems, so my wife and I just called a cab and left without making more of a scene. He called me a few days later and we had a long talk. I explained everything from my perspective. He actually agreed that his in-laws had been incredibly rude. He said lots of people had complained to him afterward about the food situation. He was upset with his in-laws too. He'd told them exactly how many guests were coming. He'd even noticed how much they were taking, but assumed they'd ordered enough food. He was wrong. He brought it up with his new wife, and she told him that because her family had paid for the food and alcohol, they felt entitled to eat however much they wanted. She was really mad at them though, and apparently reamed them out for ruining her special day. He also said a lot of non-family guests started leaving soon after we did because they were still hungry. Out of 70 people, about 30 left early. It definitely put a damper on their celebration. Oh, and that guy who came to our table, that was his new father-in-law. He was apparently really embarrassed later when he found out that close to half the guests hadn't gotten to eat anything.